So, why am I doing a video on a boring electric torch? Well, I needed a new torch. And I didn't want to spend a lot of money, it's just for emergencies really when there's a power cut. So I went into Wilkinson's, which is a big sort of chain store in the UK. And I got this for £6, which is fairly cheap I suppose. It's obviously LED, and it calls itself a cob light. I was pondering on that. What does it mean, cob light? And I thought to myself a bit later on, chip on board. In other words, LED chips on the board. So let me turn it on, and it is incredibly bright. Too bright almost. Very nice. Also, if I turn it off, it's got a nice hook, so I can hang it up. It's also got a nice magnet, which is very strong, so I can stick it to something if I want to. Now I'm curious about this light. It comes with batteries, which is nice. 3 AAs, so it runs on 4.5 volts, and they call themselves super heavy duty. Just about every battery that's sold without a well-known name on it says super heavy duty, which automatically means that they're about the poorest quality batteries you could expect to find. And I'm sure they're not alkaline, so they're probably not going to have much of a lifespan. But that would be the other aspect of this video. I want to know how much current it takes, because I'm guessing it's about a watt of output. With high efficiency LEDs, a watt is going to give you a hell of a lot of brightness, it seems. So the thing to do is to try and measure it using a power supply, see what it does actually use. So what should I do? I should take all the batteries out, and I'll clip a negative onto that one. I think that's a negative. And if I turn it on first of all, and turn my power supply on, which is set to 4.5 volts, bang the camera, and it does nothing, so perhaps I've got something wrong here. Maybe that's the positive. No, that's the negative. Maybe that's the positive. Up there. Ah, now we have some brightness. So if I can hold that on there. My God, you should see what it's drawing. I'm absolutely horrified. In fact, it's gone into current limiting. I'm going to change the current limiting to 1.5 amps. So it's drawing 1.4 amps nearly at 4.5 volts. That's it's a pretty high current draw. Let me just do a calculation on that. Calculator. So 4.5 times, so I've got 2 times this for some reason, times 1.4 amps, wasn't it? 6.3 watts. I don't need 6.3 watts in a torch, surely. Dear, that's a bit excessive, that is. I mean, these fairly awful batteries they've given me, well, to be fair, at least they did give me some. How long are they going to last? Let's say they're an amp hour at the most. you're going to get less than an hour out of it, which I think is fairly useless. And even if I put decent Duracell batteries in there, which are maybe 2 amp hour, I don't know, 2.5 amp hour, you're still not going to get a lot out of it, maybe a couple of hours use. So I don't know about this. It's a bit over the top, isn't it? What happens if I run it on 3.5? Because what I could do, I could put a dummy, well, a shorting link, and run it on 3 volts. See what that does. But what I'll do now is I'll lower my voltage to 3 volts. Okay, and it's still quite bright, so still quite usable, I'd say. And we're now drawing 0.27 amps at 3 volts, and I think that would be more than good enough for most applications. So I do a quick calculation on that. 3 times 0.27, that's 0.8 watts. That would be more reasonable. I think that would be much better. But what I could do with it, if I could find a switch, I could make it switchable. If I could find a little slide switch to go in the front, I could switch it between high and low brightness. A lot of these lights that I've seen, they will have various brightness modes, but obviously this one was too cheap and nasty to bother with that. So if I could find a slide switch to put in the front, or maybe in the side, I could have it switchable. I wonder what the minimum it will work at. I wonder if it'll go down to 1.5 volts. I doubt it would though. In fact, it's almost guaranteed not to. Right, let's try it on no, it cuts off at 2 volts, so that's that. So you can only run it on anything above about 3 volts. So I think the thing to do now is to take it apart and have a look inside it and see basically how easy it would be to stick a switch in there. And I'm not going to bore you with the unboxing, unscrewing, whatever it's called. I'll just come back to you when I've got it to pieces. So here it is in bits, and I hope I can get it back together again, because there's this flimsy bit of metal. Well, they could have used the wire to there, but maybe a bit of metal's a better idea, I don't know. But what we've got here is we've got, interestingly enough, we've got a switch, and we've also got a resistor, which is a blue, red, gold. What does that mean? I mean, I can do normal colour codes, but when it comes to the below an ohm or whatever, it's something I don't do very often, so I'll just measure it anyway. Ah, it's 0.6 ohms. Okay, that's interesting. So they've got a 0.6 ohm in series. Don't know what purpose that would be for, just a bit of current limiting, I guess. And not a lot to see here. Don't know if I really want to pull the LEDs out. How many LEDs have we got? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. You've got 20 LEDs in there. I don't quite know how they wired it all up, but they probably parallel them all up, I imagine. And that would, the average white LEDs 3 point something volts. Then they put a bit of a resistor in series. So as for putting a switch in it, I think I would have liked to put it in the side really, but I don't think that's going to be possible. So the only place I can see really is to put one in there, if I can find one that is small enough. Whether I've got one in my junk collection, I don't know. Well, I should go away and look for one. So I had a look around in my junk, and the best I could find was this, and it's a tiny little thing. I think it's going to be fairly hopeless trying to put that in there. There's no way of fixing it other than gluing it. It's debatable whether the actual pin is, or switch thing, would stick through far enough. And to be honest, I think it's bright enough, running on 3 volts. And it certainly would extend the battery life considerably. Because if I do a test now and turn the power supply on, that's 260 milliamps it's drawing. Turn all the lights off in here, and as you can see, I think that would be more than good enough. And it's not completely dark in this workshop, but you know, and if it was pitch black at night, that would be more than good enough. And it really is bright when it can stay connected. I mean, that is just incredibly. You can hardly look at it, and that's running out of watt. So I'm going to go with that plan B and just put a link across it and run it on 2 AAs. Because apart from anything else, it's a bit of a silly number, isn't it, having 3 batteries? You know, if you wanted to run it on rechargeables, it's hopeless. How do you recharge 3 batteries without a lot of complications? When I've got a charger that'll do 2 or 4. So, and okay, you get a bit less voltage, which might not be enough. 1.2, 2.4 with 2 batteries, but I think the best plan is to run it on just normal batteries, the ones they gave me, and then stick alkalines in it. And if it's drawing, say your alkaline battery is I don't know, 2.5 ampere, and I was drawing, I can't remember what I was drawing, 260 milliamp I'm drawing. Divide that would give you 9.6 hours of continuous operation on some decent alkalines, and that would be far better than the original with 4 batteries in there. So that's it then. I think I'm just going to link it out, one of those battery terminals. The main problem is getting the bloody thing back together now, because they're not the easiest things to pull apart. So I'll put it back together. Okay, it's all back together, and I've linked out, well, I've actually just moved the wire to this terminal rather than this load of rubbish and go in the bin. And no, but that was a right hassle getting that back together, but they always make it difficult as possible, of course. I think the only thing I want to do now is, well, it's running on that, running on 3 volts off those batteries, which are fairly awful, I'm sure. I just wanted to current measurement on those rather rubbishy batteries. Which is not easy. milliamps. So obviously those batteries are dropping considerably in voltage, because I was up at 160 on the power supply. So that for me is more than good enough. More than good enough. Turn that off, turn the light off. Yeah, I'm happy enough with that. So there we are, another boring video on torches. But you know, other people do videos on stuff like that. Big Clive, I'm sure, has in the past, and he'll get thousands of views and I'll get hardly any. That's the way it goes. So bye for now.